Nightingale by Inflection Games has been newly released into early access this February 2024. I've spent some time playing and streaming the game to show it off to my community and to form an opinion that I can make a review video upon. So keep watching to find out what I think of the game, and when you do so, consider commenting below the video and give me your view of the game, pros and cons. But let's dive into the realm world of Nightingale. First off, let's give big props to the developers for creating a beautiful world. It really starts out beautifully with an intro cinematic diving into the timeline that we exist in, the brief history of what has happened and where we are. This is something many games really fail at, setting up that game for success. It's really top notch and heightened my enjoyment of the game subsequently. We get to see those beautiful worlds, a Victorian era type of technology and artistic direction, characters, the background sounds, and yes, I love ambient music which sets the tone for where you are. Calm and relaxing at your home base and more intense during action sequences that sort of weave together really well. It's a clear 5 bren for atmosphere. Nightingale is a survival game, albeit currently very basic. Often survival games follow a fairly predictable set of steps relating to ensuring you have a safe home, keeping yourself alive through food and drinks, and crafting and building. While these aspects are part of the game, they feel really basic in Nightingale. You literally in the first hour realize that just gathering berries and veggies along with killing some animals for meat gives you abundant nourishments. Coming out of the tutorial, you can already build yourself a wooden base, and stone building unlocked so fast I didn't even have time to make a wooden house. As to crafting, you get your normal tools at the same time and then, well, that's it. You've beaten the survival aspect, where your base is really more of a decorative space to keep your resources, crafting benches and the like, with little or no survival aspects remaining, all in the first hour of finishing the tutorial. Some mention of my Discord were made of nightly raids of fiends wrecking them. However, since that happens at night and I pretty much just long sleep through it, I've never run into it after more than 20 hours in game. With even basic stone walls having hardly any hit points, I mean, my recruited NPC broke my wall when attacking and killing a boar that happened to wander in. That's probably a good thing, as it wouldn't save you from any base raid anyhow. In a survival game where an hour of gameplay beats the survival aspects, that has to be judged as weak, and I give it only a 2 rating. Let's turn to the progression aspect, and by this I mean character, unlocks, high level building, crafting and the like. The system relies on you unlocking recipes, and my immediate impression was that this would be unlocked as you progress through the story, which would pace things properly. However, that is not the case. Coming out of the tutorial, I discovered I could spend 10 minutes grinding resources and simply buy all the recipes at the local essence trader, something which I repeated going to the next story map as well with another essence trader and a lot of blueprints, which gave me all the building pieces, all the workbenches, weapons and tools that I needed. There are some quest story unlocks of recipes later on, but most seem to be really tied to buying them at the trader. I cannot understate how poorly designed a system this is. It gives me absolutely no satisfaction at the way I unlock things. It's a bit of a grind, and everything is unlocked. I will also make a mention of the technology level system, which relies on a workbench, where you later craft a refined workbench and have to remove the old one as obsolete. I'm sure there's going to be an advanced one and a hyper advanced one. You do build augmentations that unlock recipes of nearby workstations, but altogether it feels very cumbersome. It's this of out with the old and in with the new, placing augmentations nearby multiple types of workstations. I mean, you have to put it near a workbench and a tailor station. It makes base arrangement of crafting benches more chaotic. It's as if they looked at other systems and then decided to make them complicated for no reason. I can only award it 2 bren here. It needs a lot of work. In the technical category, first off, hats off for the ability to customize your character look-wise, ancestry, background, which helps to make you unique. It does need more, but it is off to a good start, and you run into this at once, and it gave me a great impression. The next part relating to always online, however, is a poor design. their server store and run your gameplay on regional servers, so you can't even back up your gameplay. If the server has issues, you can't play. And yes, I've been unable to play due to server issues. You just have to wait until it's working. It also means you get large lag if there's no nearby servers, which right now is US, Europe, and Southeast Asia. They are expanding it though. But you do get minutes worth of loading time as soon as you try to get into a realm every time you travel between realms, and that is annoying. While the setup allows for others to visit your realm while you are offline, since there are no permission settings, anyone you invite can do whatever they want to. Coupled with no way of making backups means that you better be sure that you trust them, because otherwise you're in for a lot of trouble. This is a huge lack of control which I find unacceptable. Oh, of course, no dedicated servers. What else? Granted, they are supposedly working on an offline mode, so they have taken the criticisms to heart. That is good. The UI look and flow is outdated. Accessing the menus, the crafting, I find cumbersome and unintuitive. Windows will overlap and hide information you're trying to see. It's generally just fairly messy and really should have been caught during their playtesting. The saving grace might be that the co-op experience is very accessible. It's easy to get together and play together, which is a huge deal in survival games. It does need more enhancement to base permissions so that communities can form and play together while still allowing you to protect your home. Let me unlock my doors and chests. Let me prevent people from just dismantling my walls. Let me set my realm to visit only when I'm in it, or similar. Survival games needs to launch with more of these aspects rather than simply tacking them on as an afterthought down the line. With the nice co-op aspects though, it is bumping the score, and I will award it 3 Bren. Let's look at the readiness for early access launch. This category might differ from others, but for me, I expect a game that has ironed out the immediate issues that 30 minutes of testing would uncover. A reasonable early and maybe mid-game allowing players to enjoy the game and still set them up for future updates and improvements. However, there is a lack of progression. There's a bunch of resources missing even icons, leaving only generic images. That's plain lazy. Sorry. We have a journal with how to play guides which has a lot of empty entries. Just a headline. Come on devs. Surely you could have spent a few days to populate them with some basic information at least, not just leaving them empty. If you can't write, don't include them. In many ways, it feels like this was launched on schedule rather than launched at readiness. Another month, maybe 2 of fine-tuning a bunch of these issues likely would have sorted them out and made it feel a lot better at launch. It just doesn't feel like it is. As such, only 2 Bren. So what is the overall verdict? I would say if you are a die-hard survival co-op fan who grabs most survival games at launch to play and try them out, not caring whether it's 5, 10 or 50 hours of enjoyment, it's an alright purchase. Not great, but alright. At the current launch price, coupled with the current state of affairs, there are better alternatives to spend your money and time in. 2024 has come with a number of survival games hitting early access or being about to, which means game developers really need to up their game to capture the interest of players. For the average gamer, adopting a wait and see, keep it on wishlist and following along to see how it develops might be the preferred approach. Overall, I will give Nightingale 3 Bren out of 5. What is your score? If you've enjoyed this type of video, maybe consider hitting that like button and subscribing. Thank you for watching to then. Catch you next time, Realm Walker.